Well, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 0 to 60. It's a bit of a weird one because it is just gone 7 p.m. Today's not gone smoothly. This is the fourth day on the engine swap, and it's just been one of those things that hasn't gone very good. However, a few hours ago, I did film a little clip to give you an update on what's going on. So have a look at that while I lift this bad boy back up in the air, because in a minute, I want to try and get the engine back in it. All right guys, quick update. This has been a bad day. I nearly burnt my thumb off and everything's just gone slow, but hey, we're getting there. So what we're looking at this morning, first thing I tried to do was get the turbos on. They actually all went on pretty perfectly. Checked all the O-rings, every seal. I have used new seals on the oil drains just because they're like a paper gasket type thing, but I have reused all the O-rings. They all looked pretty much perfect anyway. I burnt my thumb modifying this clearance here. I heated it up and then picked it up because I'm a dickhead. But hey, could be worse. What do we have to do? The rear inlet is on because I can't get to the hose clamp from the bottom when that mount is on. So we need that mount on to drop it back onto the subframe. What else to know? Did use new head to turbo manifold gaskets. I've reused the original copper nuts and swapped studs from the E92 engine into the E90 engine, so I haven't actually used any of my new turbo kit yet. That all went pretty smooth. Water pump's gone straight back on with no issues. Got the wiring harness on. The wiring harness took a lot of working out. Obviously it was just a mess, but yeah, we got there in the end. I'm hoping everything still works. I didn't stress any of the wires, so it should be sweet, but just getting it all routed into the right spot was a bit of a nightmare. We got the point injection on. Now, I did want to make a new fuel line for the point injection. Unfortunately, I've just ran out of time and it's not going to happen. I did get the fittings out. One of the main reasons I sort of held back from doing it was I need to know clearance around this area because the part that I want to use that spreads it is just going to be a bit tight, but we can worry about that later. I want to get this car running. Yeah, throttle body's on, point injection's on, intake manifold's on. We're getting pretty close. I'm gonna try and get it onto the subframe now. So a few things I hadn't mentioned in that last clip, which you guys should also know about. So I had said yesterday that I bought a full VRS set, which I bought from FCP Euro, and I thought it had all of the gaskets for the turbos and the exhaust. However, if you look in there, there are no downpipe gaskets. And they were one of the few things that we noticed on the turbos yesterday that were not in very good condition. And that's out of actually one of the standard turbos, but I'll show you here. Now, when I realized I didn't have any new ones, I thought, well, I'll just have to risk reusing them. How bad can they be? And as I went to fit the downpipes up, put the downpipe up on the turbo, and it was just, you could feel it was just metal on metal. So I went and had a look, and I've got 4 standard turbos here. So I had a look at the ones that look the best, and I picked the 2 best looking gaskets to reuse. I know it's dodgy, we've got no choice. And then I started to take out the old ones. So when I actually fitted those 17Ts to that motor the first time, I used the gaskets for the downpipes that come with the turbos. They come in these little packets, but I didn't use the 6 turbo gaskets. Anyway, the material that they make their turbo gasket out of is very, very weird. So the 4 that I've got here in the standard turbos, stock turbos, they pop straight out. That's what they look like. They look pretty good. However, getting the Chinese one out of the 17T took nearly an hour, and it came out in about 1,000 pieces. That was the biggest piece that came out. And it's almost like, I don't know, it's gone very hard and brittle. But yeah, it was just all still caked in there. So there was heaps of scraping and cleaning and scraping and cleaning. Yeah, so that one has got a used gasket on the back, but it was such a bad job to clean out the old one. I've just left the old one on the front one because it was like an hour to fit that rear downpipe, and it's just ridiculous. So that has got the Chinese gasket getting reused. Just gonna hope it seals. If it doesn't, I'll I can obviously refit the downpipes later on, but yeah, it was ridiculous. Also spent quite a while trying to get the downpipes aligned properly. I did make a stencil of where they all sat when I took them off, so hopefully they're in the right place and they will line up with the exhaust up there. What other nightmares did we have? Gearbox went on. Actually, that went on pretty... Oh, light's falling over. That went pretty straightforwards. I've tried to line the torque converter up with the flywheel visually, but you won't be able to do it properly until it's up in the air, but it's easy to spin. Wiring's all connected. Don't think we had any weird things. Got the rear inlet on, that was on before. I've now got the drive belt and the front inlet on, and that is tightened, so that is good. I think we are about ready to see if it joins up. Now, one thing I did do, which was a bit of a mistake, when I first dropped the E90 engine onto the subframe had not moved, so we know it was in the right spot. However, getting the downpipes in, because I was just struggling, I ended up using the engine crane to lift it all up, and as soon as I started to lift it, it shifted. So now the subframe is not in the right spot. I'm going to try and line it up by eye as good as I can, and then you guys will be able to witness the mating. I've got very, very slim hopes of this actually lining up because you cannot move this. All right, let's get on with it. Okay, so I'm gonna lower it down and we'll just see how close it is to lining up. I have slim hopes, but maybe we can muscle it close enough. Okay, it's just starting to touch. Let's have a quick look from up here. Alright. So far it's just wiring harness is just hanging over a little bit on this side, which we'll be able to tuck up. Holy crap, I can actually move the whole thing. Sweet. That out of the way. It's pretty close, but that actually moved all right, which I wasn't expecting to be able to move it. This is what we're looking at. You just see the silicone inlet has just caught, but it actually looks like we're getting pretty clear. The engine appears to be, I think, a little bit too far forwards, but we'll know shortly. All right, I'm gonna keep going. All right, you just let me know if anything's gonna hit. Ooh, what was that noise? Something made a noise. Could have been that. Need a remote control for the lift. Oop. Okay. Stay there. That it doesn't look too bad, not that I can really see. I'm just going to have a look underneath and see how far off the mounts. Oh shit. So the engine is about 1 inch too far forwards. I'm going to see if I can muscle it. I just have to move you guys. Okay, just a quick update. You would have seen me tuck under this side. So we've got an issue where the exhaust is, because it's on an angle, it needs to come forwards so we can get this lip over it. Like, the exhaust moves a bit, but not enough. So, to get around that, and because I didn't take the exhaust off, I guess I've got to, so we've still got a good, I don't know, 8 inches before the subframe lines up. So I'm gonna pull the engine forwards, engine and gearbox forwards, get it past that flange, I hope, and then push it back. Should be easy. Okay, so quick update. We're getting close to being lined up there. We have managed to get the exhausts past. Sorry guys, let me try and get you that angle. So that's a miracle. I've checked the back of the gearbox and it's actually where it's supposed to be. Somehow, again, I don't know how, but nothing really seems to have gotten caught up. It's all sort of slid through. The only thing that's going to be an absolute bastard, that's not the word I wanted to use, is the steering column. I still haven't worked out how to do that yet. In fact, let me have a bit of a play with it now. Okay, well I've just about started it, so I'm going to drop the hoist as smallest amount I can, and then we'll see if that will go onto that spline. Okay, micro adjustment. That was bigger than I thought. Whoops. Okay. Hey, if we're lucky, it will just be perfectly on there. Oh, it actually did. I hope you can see that. It's sliding on. Amazing. Cool. All right, I'm going to drop it a bit more because we need to get that lined up. Hopefully that was in camera. All right. Again, engine's nearly at the right height. Shall I just check this one? All right, we're going another little drop. Okay, we are now on the subframe. Let me just check that side. Again, it's super easy on your own. Not. Okay, well this side has gone solid. It's close. So the driver's side is now, sorry, the passenger side, this side, the subframe is touching, but the driver's side it's not. It's about 10 mil away. Ah, shit. Okay, I have to go up. How's that steering column looking? Not great. All right. Well, it is 9 o'clock, so it's about an hour and a half since you've seen me on camera and everything's done. No, it's not. That whole time was spent trying to connect the steering column. So I don't know if you remember, when I actually took the engine out, I couldn't get the bottom joint off of the steering rack, and it was just a pain in the ass until the engine was off, and then it just slid off like it was nothing. So obviously it's just a matter of getting it on perfect alignment to slide on and off the spline. So I was a bit cautious about it, but it did start to go, but I just couldn't get it to go down. So I ended up taking off the top, then eventually managed to get the bottom on, but that took, I reckon it probably took 20 minutes to get the bottom on. However, reconnecting the top part was an absolute nightmare. That took well over an hour, and it's because the top, where the steering shaft comes through the firewall, it's not solid, so it will slide backwards and forwards freely. And because I'm on my own, I had no way of holding the column inside the car. So what I ended up doing, it was like, I mean, it took me ages to work out to try. And the microphone just went flat. That's how good everything has gone today. But what I was trying to say is, to get it to connect inside the engine bay, I would push this part just here. So I'd push that metal piece forwards, and then I could go back into the engine bay, slide on the steering shaft about 1 millimeter, and then it would push the shaft back into the cabin, then backwards and forwards, and eventually got it on enough that I could lever it on with a screwdriver. So yeah, that was a bit of a annoying mother trucker, but we got there in the end. And I think in this section I was just talking about how I've actually just about to bolt the subframe up. Right, and this is just the last, well, the last front subframe bolt, which is started. We'll just tighten it up. Sweet. Let me just make sure this one is definitely good. Yeah, it is. Woo! Okay, I'm going to put the rear subframe bolts in. You can't actually do that until the subframe is up in place. And this one, sick. So I should be able to now release that. Pull this out of the way. And this is now bolted into the car. Woo! Now before I lift it up, I've got to put the rear transmission mount bolts in, but then we're getting close. Woo! Okay, so I'm worn out again. It's taken longer than it should have, but transmission bolts are on. Let's take this off for a moment. And with any luck, we should be able to keep racing. We are good! Oh my God! Alright, so let's have a quick look at what we're dealing with. Well guys, she's back in. Unfortunately, I've just now got to connect everything that connects the engine to the car, which is going to be a job for tomorrow because I need to get this edited for you guys and get it live on the tube. But yeah, basically we've got all the transmission lines, the power steering lines, the radiator, intercooler. Damn. Now this is something I was a bit nervous about. How close is the alignment? Close enough, that will work. That will work. Sweet, I've got to re-sort out those things. We've got to reconnect the flywheel to the torque converter. It's just 6 bolts, hopefully it won't be too bad. Oil in it, and good to go. Woo! That was harder than taking it out, as expected. But we're getting there, holy shit. All right guys, well that is today's update. Hope the audio's okay, the microphones have gone flat, but the GoPro didn't for once. Man, that was a bit of a struggle, but we got there. The E90 engine is now in the E92. Wow. All right guys, we're getting close. There's going to be an update on the other E92 as well. I'm not sure if that video will come out before this one. It is Thursday today, and I'm hoping to have the first start tomorrow. But if there's not a video on this tomorrow, it's because of the video on the other E92, and you'll get an update on Saturday on what's happened with this one. Catch my breath. Big job. Scary job. Hopefully I caught enough of it. Oof. And also tomorrow I'll get this on the engine stand, so that is now ready to have the head taken off and see how bad cylinder 4 is. It's all happening. All right guys, thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Team N54.